just give it a go. You'll never have to buy another grunt tube again.
I listened to a lot of real deer grunting on videos and stuff, and some of them, they were all a little bit different, and there was a lot of character to each grunt when you heard it. And every grunt call I ever tried didn't seem to have any character to it. It was just buh, buh, and it just did it, and like it didn't have anything to it. And when I watched a buck and he was all excited, or he was just standing there all alert, and he did it for a long time. That's really neat, you know. And it sounded really good. It was quiet. All the real buck grunts that I heard in the woods, and I had a couple of bucks at 10 feet grunting. 10 feet, that's nice and close. So, and they were so quiet. And of course, deer have them huge ears, so they can hear everything. You don't have to be super loud with your grunts. But if they're out there at 60 or 70 yards and they're making noise, you're going to have to get their attention a little bit. So you have to really give her some. The tone and the length and how it goes doesn't matter. And people are like all kind of freaked out about how they sound, and they think they don't sound good enough. And truthfully, you just got to play it to a whole bunch of deer. A whole bunch of them have to hear what you have to say. And a lot of the especially smaller, younger bucks were the ones that I wanted to imitate. I wanted to sound like a little guy. I didn't want to be intimidating to something that was pretty big. And a big one would say, "Oh, really?" and come walking over anyway. So I didn't worry about that. But I didn't want to scare off smaller, younger deer, and especially like does and fawns. If it's during the rut chase phase and a doe comes running up to you and you grunt at her and she says, "Oh, another buck," and runs off, it'll blow it. So, you know, it was one of those things that I just tried practicing a little bit. And I tried to do it deeper in my throat, and I made it start and stop. Like you just make one tone, and get used to making it turn on and off, and just the back of your throat, just a little bit. And I started doing it more and more in different ways. And I watched a buck inside of a pen, and he was chasing a doe, and he had a whine like, whoa, you could hear it in his voice. It got like, stop. You know, you could hear that in his voice. You can bury your grunts like crazy. You can grunt like crazy. The best time to practice when you're out in nice empty woods. You won't be embarrassing to anybody. You won't get your wife pissed off, and you'll be good to go. And I practice it all the time. And if it gives people confidence that it works. And I can't believe the response this year. It's been so good. So many people have been like, "I grunted and a deer came running right in," or "I snort wheezed and it just come running up to us." And even a snort wheeze is just a hissing, "Get away from me." And it doesn't matter what it sounds like or how good it is. And it can vary like crazy. A lot of times it has a little bump to it too. They'll do that, "Get away from me." And how you make it sound doesn't matter all that much. I want to say the first one I ever heard of was like Mark Drury. I think he sold one 1,000,000 years ago, and he did it to a buck that was out there 500-600 yards in a field. He snort wheezed that thing, and the thing, and came running across that field and came right up behind him looking for him. And it was amazing the response he got from that. And of course, I'd never heard it in the wild, and 99% of people I don't think have ever heard it, but it happens fairly often, and they hiss at each other quite a bit. And under the right circumstances, when you play to a deer that's there, it'll work. So give it a try and practice it a little bit. Do it out in the woods, get a grunt call of any kind, and just try imitating it. And after a while, you'll be able to do it. And if there's guys, they just do that and it works fine. It just goes to show it doesn't matter how you do it. Just, you know, and the grunt tube manufacturers probably aren't going to like this because that's what they do. They sell these things. But try it a little bit and you'll find that it works. And after a while, you won't have to carry that grunt tube around anymore, and it'll work just fine and you'll be good. I've had quite a few who ignored it totally. They ignore my grunt calls totally. I've even seen some ignore rattling. You know, when you're rattling and really getting after it, and they just walk away and don't even care.
That
there's some deer there.
When we were in Colorado, that young mule deer was like, don't care when we were grunting at him.
Yeah, we're grunting at him.
Silent, he heard us. There's no way he didn't hear us.
And he's like, peace.
Yeah. He's like, nah, man, that ain't me.
Yeah. So don't worry about what it sounds like. Just do it. And we're a little bit different. Casey has a meh, meh. He kind of meh like that a little bit, and that works for him. I just have practiced it a lot. After a while, it drives my wife nuts. She doesn't want to hear it anymore. We try grunting all the time, and just playing the buck game has worked for so many people this year. Congratulations to everybody that tried it, and if it works for you, that's wonderful. Again, be real careful. Don't get, wear orange. Don't get some hunter somewhere all shook up and get him pointing a gun at you. You don't want that to happen. Be careful, But it is really exciting, and it's exciting to have a buck come to you like that. Nothing beats that. And when you track them and you get close to them and you keep playing this game, it's bound to work. Once you kick the buck up and he leaves, he smells you or something goes and he runs and he's really on to you, and the fact you're coming after him, especially you jump him the second and third time, we're going to have to do a video about that. If anything, you're just telling him, I'm coming, and he's like, after a while, he's going to not like that at all. A lot of these tactics that we teach, if you have like 100 acres, it's the only place you can hunt, and if you start using these tactics like crazy on your land and all the deer get wised up to it, especially the does get busted over and over by it, they'll teach their fawns, and then pretty quick all you do is educate all your deer. So you got to be careful about doing some of this stuff. But like where we are in this big woods, and we might meet that one deer once a year, it's going to be with a gun barrel. So it is what it is, But anyway, just keep practicing, keep trying it, and when you play to enough deer, somebody will like it sooner or later.
Somebody will take. You're just trying to get curiosity anyway.
Yeah, and that's all you want. I'm just trying to get him to make a mistake, and if I can grunt at him and get around the bushes, he'll let me come out to a shooting lane and get a shot at him. And it gains me 3-4 seconds. Sometimes that's all you need in order to get the deer. So it buys you time, and it might even buy an extra stop or two once you jump him. If he hears grunt, 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 and smash, 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 and then he gets nervous and just jumps a little bit and stops, and now you grunt at him some more, and it gives you an opportunity to maybe see him again, and it buys you some time. It's worth just the purchase of a small amount of time just by grunting at him a little bit.
One of the things that helped me learn how to do it was just making a sound and then slowing down how fast it's coming out of your voice. And you go, and then it's mostly the, or that. So it's mostly just making a sound really slowly, like, and then you just play with how loud it is and how much bass you put into it and all that. And I know mine's kind of a, like that. And Casey's a, and everybody's just like deer. We all have our own voice, and it'll work, guys. Just give it a go. But
I like the fact that you can make your tone change.
Yes.
It can be short, long, easy, hard. Like you can vary it like crazy.
Yeah.
And that is really, really good because you can make it sound like something they've never heard before, and a lot of times that's really good. But
yeah.
And two, the volume will come once you learn the feeling. Yeah, you just make a, and you'll slow it right down so it'll go. Then, once you get that feeling down, now you can start doing it harder, and you can get more out of it. You get a little more volume as you practice. Same as a guitar or a trumpet or anything, you learn the volume as you learn the feel and you get the notes right. You can't do it wrong. I don't think you can do it too much. I don't think you can grunt too much.
You can just grunt to the wrong deer at the wrong time, though.
Right.
You just can't do it too, like in general, just do it.
Yeah.
Just experiment with it.
Yeah, and just do what feels right to you and what seems to work. And pay attention to what works and what doesn't work, and it won't take you long.
Yeah.
And if you get a big buck, you tracked him 2 or 3 days in a row, and now you've grunted to him a whole bunch, and it's day 4, I wouldn't keep grunting to him.
No, he's not gonna care.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And some of those, I've even gone just, hey, and they've gone, They had never heard a human voice like this from me. It was something different, But, and then we definitely got to do a video about jumping them and re-jumping them and jumping them and re-jumping them. And even though this last video was about that kind of, 2 tracks was about that. But there's some things that
we didn't get to do.
Yeah, we got to discuss about that.
Yeah. early season, you have the biggest and the best chance to actually use a grunt to get them, you know, curious enough to come see you, like we did with the grunt buck. Casey and I just, and then after grunting a while, Snort wheezed him, and then he came right in. But most of the time, late season, you know, they're sick of other deer. They don't want to hear it. Most of the time, you're using a grunt just to either stop them when they're getting ready to leave, or to kind of cover your sound and to make them, you know, a little bit more comfortable with staying and waiting to find out what's coming. That's mostly how we use it, and that's mostly what works, and that's kind of how it does the best. But anyway, just give it a go. You'll never have to buy another grunt tube again after you practice. I mean, you can if you want to. Do whatever you want.
Think I'll ever get to be as good as you?
You mean if you practice a lot?
Yeah.
No. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you have any questions, you know, feel free to ask. We do our best to either answer them in text or in video form, like this one. If we get enough demand for it, we'll put out a video about it. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up. You know, share it if you think somebody else could get some benefit from it. Thank you so much for watching. We're gonna go stumble through the wet snow and see if we can find a freaking track today. And you just find a glove?
No.
Oh, you just dropped one?
Yep.
Oh, I was like, dude, road treasure. Zip your pouch, man. Kids, so this is why he needs me. Otherwise he loses all of his stuff and no one will know what he's out here doing in the woods. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you haven't. We appreciate all you guys' comments and views and chatting with us, and all the pictures that you guys tag us in, and all the stuff that we've seen with people wearing the lucky hats. A couple people have picked up some hats from the shop and taken some pictures when they got their deer. That's pretty cool to see. But anyway, we'll see you guys later. We're gonna go see if we can grunt one up.